much for conducting this. Thank you very much, Iria, for taking over the lead on conducting this workshop. So it's been a great pleasure to actually create the contents for this project together with my colleague Teresa, who has put in several hours in order to come up with something that could be used in Kenya, not only during the duration of our currently running project DePUK, but also beyond the scope of the project itself. So just to give you a little bit of background for those who have joined in today about why we are actually doing this course and what the requirements are in order to obtain the goodies of being a successful participant. So as many of you might be aware from the first session, there is a project currently running at the 3 universities in the Mount Kenya region in Kenya. That is the University of in Chuka, the University in Karatina, as well as the Dedan Kimathi University of Technology in Nyeri. So with these 3 universities, we have been working for over 3 years now in order to establish them as entrepreneurial universities in their respective areas. Entrepreneurial universities actually means that we not only want to transform the institutions itself by creating startup hubs, startup centers, and facilities that could help boost the aspect of entrepreneurship as one viable career option within the university or afterwards. But what we also want to do is create a more applied approach towards entrepreneurship, teaching, and education. So what we have been doing in the last 3.5 years was primarily focusing on teachers and trainers at your university, especially Karatina University, trying to give them a lot of information and training on how teaching and training could be done in a more applied fashion in Kenya. We wanted them to be role models that could hopefully show that there's great potential lying around in the Mount Kenya region, and there are great ideas to be developed from these universities. Now, with this specific course, what we had intended was that not only do we want the teachers and trainers in Kenya at the 3 partner universities to have a better understanding on how to do this entrepreneurial teaching and training, but we wanted to leave something behind in terms of teaching and training that you could benefit from, which has not only the quality standard of the partnering Kenyan universities, but also has a quality assurance done by our German partners that is us as Saarland University. So what we had intended with this specific e-learning course was doing this entrepreneurship training in a virtual setting, implementing it within the confinements of the pandemic for the moment, but hopefully establishing it as a long-term viable option of understanding what entrepreneurship is all about. Now, if we talk about entrepreneurship, then obviously we could talk about the theories of organizations, the sociology of organizations, and a lot of theoretical background that would be not really relevant for somebody who wants to start his or her own business. That is why with this course that luckily Iria has been guiding you through over the past few weeks, we wanted to be at about all action that you could take. So not only thinking about what is entrepreneurship, but actually doing something with the ideas you have in your mind. So I'm quite grateful to see that there's so many people, that there were so many people attending at the beginning of the course who wanted to create some idea and hopefully push it forward using the content and knowledge of this specific course. And I'm still happy to see that there's still a number of students and groups that is still interested on further continuing the work on their individual ideas. Now, ideally, we do not want to finish off this course only with you getting some paper document that shows that you have done this course, which is why we haven't really done this as an elective course per se. But what we wanted to achieve was to give you the opportunity of creating an idea that hopefully would then be sustainable in one of the incubation centers at the universities in Kenya. Hopefully your idea is so good and of such great quality that we are able to create those ideas on a bigger platform, first of all in Kenya, and probably there is a market for some of the ideas also beyond that. But that is certainly up to you to show that there's a good idea that you have and that you would want to push forward. What we can do and what we want to achieve here with this course specifically is that you can get a sense of what entrepreneurship teaching and training is about when it is done in Germany, for example. That's why we specifically call the end product that you would definitely be receiving, given the parameters that Iria has already mentioned in terms of attendance of the different sessions, is a German certificate for entrepreneurship. That is a certificate that would show that you have successfully completed a course on entrepreneurship in which the main aim was to push forward your own idea. This certificate is certainly only a piece of paper, but it shows the commitment and the quality of the work that you have done, as well as the quality of the course that you have completed. At the same time, we have been discussing internally how we would want to move forward in terms of showcasing to others on what quality of your idea is out there. So the idea was that we would be giving out first, second, and third places of the business model canvases that you have created, so that we could rate them against each other and see which is the best idea out of the course. That could be then further recommended for an incubation center to follow up upon. And what is the second and third place? Ideally, not only do we have these first, second, and third places as a ceremonial aspect of the project, but what we also would be doing is inviting over those 3 candidates who have ranked first, second, and third over to Nairobi, hopefully in October, I think it will be the case. Where there will be an event for the whole of the project, where not only the representatives of the universities will be coming and joining in, but also the German ambassador, representatives from the EU and other dignitaries will be attending a session that will be showcasing the overall achievements of our project that has been running for the last 3.5 years. And I feel that one of the great achievements of this project will be those students like yours, who have really transformed the knowledge that we were trying to transmit and transfer over to Kenya into specific ideas that they can showcase and show for, and hopefully also convince these dignitaries on an international level of the quality that is out there of entrepreneurial ideas in Kenya. So I think there's a great motivation that I was able to spark in you in terms of the potential outlook of this specific course. So it's not only about completing this coursework solely for the sake of completing it, but that there are certain benefits attached to it that transcend the sole confinements of this specific virtual room. But there's also a continuing process that we are willing to take up upon. Now, having said that, I think I don't want to take up too much time. And Iria has requested me to use today's session to get a little feedback from your end. So we have been doing this course for the last few weeks, and Iria and our team here in Saarbrücken has been in constant touch to figure out how we can even improve this specific course, either its conduction, so how do we implement it more effectively, as well as its contents itself, so that this is actually a pilot where we would want your feedback to be really crucial for us to improve the ideas that we have put forth so far. So that's why I would love to ask you, those who are attending today's session, the question on how do you find the course so far? What has been your experience so far? And if there was one thing that you could request for in terms of improving the course, what would that be? So maybe we can hear from some of you about how do you find the course, and is there anything that you would love us to do even better than we're already doing? So, Maria, would you want to call up somebody, or hopefully somebody is so eager and willing to share his or her ideas already?
Hopefully they will rise. I think you can raise your hand. Thank you so much, Dr. Nida, for that elaborate talk about the course. Now you can raise your hand and you can speak out in reaction to what Dr. Nida has said, especially on how we can improve the course that we are offering right now, and then how have you found the course so far? And then you can also talk about the benefits that he has said. Man, in October, if you're among the best 3 appearing there with the ambassador of Germany, and then the president of Kenya, probably, hopefully he will be there, because where the ambassador is, the president has to be there. That will be really awesome. So any observations, anything that we can take note of? You know, Moses, Milda, Daniel, Kiplitik, Dennis, and Ruth. Anything that you would want us to pay attention to? Yes, Moses. Manju, Moses.
Yeah, mine is just to say the course is doing great. It's okay for us. We have learned a lot through the week. Yeah, and we are still improving. For me, I don't think there is something new we should add, but we are learning is what we are using at the moment.
Thank you, Moses. Comment registered. Anybody else? Yes, Ruth. Ruth, go ahead, unmute yourself and go ahead and speak. Ruth? Yes,
okay,
Ruth.
for me.
Yes, please.
Okay, about the notes. Okay, they tend to be shallow a bit. So what about to leave some links there in case someone wants to get more information about the topic that is being discussed?
Okay. I think doctor has heard it. You're saying that the videos tend to be shallow. So for the information that we are giving you, which is condensed, we can provide some links where you can still find additional materials. There's that option, of course, in our module, if you've interacted with it, where we can provide information. So I've taken note of that. We are going to improve in these last sessions that we have. Thank you, Ruth. Anybody else? Dennis, do you have anything to say?
Yes, I do have. The session has been quite an interesting one, learning about the entrepreneurial journey and everything. Mine is concerning, due to the current circumstances you're having. I'm currently having a project and you're doing our studies. So it's something which I would like to request, if it's possible, when we are done, let's say you've like what you've done like today, you've already posted for the weeks 8, so that we can be able to navigate easily and faster. That's my recommendation. If you can have, like when you're done with this, it be earlier posted so that people can be able to complete it in this 3 session of the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. Imelda, do you have anything to say?
No, me, I'm fine. I'm enjoying the session really well.
Okay. Thank you, Milda. How about Daniel? Daniel, would you want to say something? Imelda, you want to say something? Okay, you can also type in the chat in the next probably 5 minutes. You can type in the chat if you would, if you're not in position to speak, and then we can be able to respond. Yes, Dennis?
I have a question. Will there be a follow-up after you're done with the courses and the projects after October thereby?
Okay. I think it's noted. Dr. Nida will talk about it. Anybody else? You can write in the chat. If the place where you are is uncomfortable for you to speak, you can type in the chat. I think, Dr. Nida, you can be talking about the few concerns that have been risen, then we can be able to. Okay. One, Dennis says that, Dennis is asking that will there be a follow-up after the course has been taken, even after the October event? Is there any other form of follow-up to see how their businesses are doing? That's what he asked. And then he also asked, this was, I think, my concern. He also asked that in this exam period, I can share quite early whatever they are supposed to be doing, and whenever they find some time, maybe over the weekend, they can be able to focus maybe on 2 of them and then finish and upload, especially in this time. That's his issue. I think those were the urgent issues that he raised.
Okay, I'm having a few issues with the audio, but I hope I got the questions from the students right. So one was related to follow-up, if I got it right. So the question is, the question was whether there will be any follow-up to this event itself or this course itself, or in any form there will be a follow-up with the ideas that those students who are participating in this course will be are working on. So I can only say 2 things about that. So on the one hand, our project is going to end at the end of the year. So our presence in terms of the German team was always meant to be something that initiates and sparks some ideas, and hopefully there's a channel that we can establish within the Kenyan universities that could take up those ideas that have been created. So on the one hand, what we have done is make sure that there are structures such as incubation centers, hubs, and so on and so forth that we will be linking you with, so that any feedback that can come to you comes through those hubs and incubation centers. These incubation centers are typically quite competitive, so having one of these first 3 places will certainly make it easier for you to enter these incubation centers, as well as we will be asking those incubation centers to be the experts who would be rating your ideas anyways. So there will be a try from our end to link you directly to people from that end. On this, on another note, what we have intended beyond the scope of this October meeting, and that depends on the developments of the pandemic, is that we want to do a big startup weekend event that is going to be a 3-day event at Karatina as well as Chuka University, in which we will be inviting over sponsors and donors from different fields of industry as well as government, who would hopefully be joining in order to see and hear about the ideas that have already been developed. And then hopefully can be further developed during those 3 days. So we have follow-up activities lined up, but they are not in the sense that we would be the ones who would be taking up your ideas, but we want to create a sustainable way of courses such as this one that could be then run from within Kenya. The second question, I had a few more difficulties understanding. Iria, correct me if I'm wrong. So I think I got the gist of it, that there seem to be some challenges depending on that are related to the current exam period. So whether there's any form of flexibility of submitting course contents later than what was initially thought would happen. And I think that's certainly a feedback that I was hoping to hear from you on how to deal with the examination periods, because in the future, when we are going to run these kinds of project courses, then it's very likely that we will end up in a similar situation as the one we are currently at, that the exams will be right around the corner, or you might be already in the examination period. So if I'm right, that was the question, Iria, isn't it?
Yes, it was that.
Yep. So I think we should be flexible given the current pandemic, and we will try to figure out what could be the ways that you are able to submit your coursework for this specific course later than it was expected. And we might need to figure out a hard deadline where we feel that at latest by this date, everything needs to be sent in order to be able to still count it as one course. And we can certainly grant you a few weeks of extension overall, so that those who haven't been able to submit their things up until now, they can still submit some things in the next weeks. That's something Iria and I can discuss, but let me already assure you that if that is something that is creating a challenge for you, then we will definitely find a solution for it.
Okay, then I think Ruth is the one who asked whether we can be able to provide them with more links to the work that we are sharing, because they feel the videos are having a condensed content.
Mm-hmm.
So she's asking, can we be able to provide more where they can get a detailed one?
That's a wonderful feedback. That means that you're so interested that you would want to read more about it. So definitely we have a large list of information and content that we have used in order to create the condensed version of these videos. Although I feel that the condensed version certainly helps in order to get the gist of it and get you into action. If you would want to read more, then I can, or Iria can certainly ask Teresa, because she's the one who has been the mastermind behind the content creation itself. So the lady that you have been seeing in many of the videos, she's been the one who has created the content herself. So there shouldn't be any issue to point you towards more reading material, at least, that you could take a look at.
Yeah, sure. Teresa came and spoke to them one time about 3 weeks ago. So they should be knowing her.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so are there any more questions, or we can end here? Any more questions? Okay, so we have made amendments, as I communicated on WhatsApp, that I'll be opening up very early, but also I'm going to extend time for you to be able to submit your work that you're doing, so that you can be able to juggle between exams and also be able to juggle at the project. So make sure you do your projects very well, and then yes, because you know the motivation there behind is that you're going to, each of you is going to receive a German certificate, and also you're going to get a chance to meet the German ambassador and all the project sponsors for this project in Nairobi. So it will be really a great time, which you ought not to miss. Okay. Somebody says, I have highly appreciated the feedback. That's good. Maybe I can ask one of you to say a vote of thanks to Dr. Nida, and he can lead us by, and then we get back. Okay. Anybody who is ready? Is it Ruth, Moses, Milda? Yes, Milda. Milda, go ahead, unmute and go ahead and
Good afternoon again.
good afternoon, Milda.
I want to thank all the participants that have. Yes, I'm appreciating all the participants that have made it today, especially Dr. Nida. And I'm also appreciating the fact that they've been able to send us some advice and some information that we are using to learn over the projects that we want to show them and our ideas as such. And I'm also appreciating the efforts that they are making to help us learn something each and every new day. We thank you for everything. And I'm also appreciating you, Area. You've been part of this journey every day, every hour, making sure that we do the assignments when we're not on time and everything. So I'm appreciating everyone. And I would like to say thank you until we meet.
Thank you too. Dr. Nida, any last words that you can say to us before we close?
I think Milda has already said the nicest words, so I have nothing to add. Thank you very much for everybody participating in the course. I really look forward to seeing you guys physically in Kenya, hoping that the pandemic this year will enable us to travel over. And if there's a meeting with the ambassador, that's great. But otherwise, I will definitely be coming over to Karatina University in order to meet some of you and see your ideas firsthand.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Nida. Thank you, everybody, for participating today. Yes, till we meet again when we are having our live feedback session. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.